Hi everyone, Jan Furston here with Furston House. I have been sorting and organizing again, and I have come upon the conclusion that I have way too much ephemera to make sewing journals. I only really wanted to make 2, maybe 3, and this is just way too much. I have almost this again for my own journals that I wanted to make. So whether this is, hopefully someone will enjoy this. I'm just going to put it all up in my Etsy shop, and I'll put the link below, and then hopefully someone will get some use out of all of this stuff that I have been saving. A lot of it is vintage, some of it is antique, mostly vintage, and there are some new things in there. But I think overall it's probably mostly vintage. But anyway, you'll see that, because what this video is, I'm just going to go through it kind of fast and show everybody what I've got, and then you can make a decision on whether it's something that you can use. So I'm going to put this on pause, and then I will start opening things up. So here I am again, and my pause, I'm hoping, actually worked. Let me get this in so that it's actually in focus here. There we go. Okay, so again, really fast. I'm going to try not to make this as terribly boring. This is vintage, 1970s probably. It's the How to Fit book, McCall's Carefree Guide to Pattern Adjustment. And it's just got a lot of neat graphics in it from way back when. It's really nice to see the how the styles have changed. Some for the better, not all for the better. But anyway, and this is all just going to be one listing, so I'm just going to go through here really fast. Here's another one. This one is another vintage, much older. I think this one's probably from the 50s, I think. Price 10 cents. Yeah, probably from the 50s. And it's children's classics from 4 to 14. And I think it's knitting. I don't know how to knit, and I don't know how to crochet. But it's just really neat, and it'd be great for sewing journals. As I said, some of this is new. This is just a page that I tore out of a magazine, and I liked it. And I thought, okay, fine. Use it or not, up to you. These are some individual sheets that I have collected over the years. This is from a sewing machine magazine, or an instruction booklet, really. A thing of definitions, more sewing. You can just see that have obviously come out of a book. I've bought them over the years just loose. Some I've purchased the books. Here's some more. And I'll put those back. This, I'm not even sure. It's like they've been created by someone else. I don't know who. I'm sorry, I don't remember. But they're really neat because they are like pages of the instructions put together. And they've got little holes in them. So, sewing by hand. And now these, all of these pages, this is from My Porch Prints. I printed them off. I was going to use them, and never did. And so I'm going to put that in there as well. And that's even a little miniature book for us, a miniature sewing book, how to put it together. I think I'm okay in giving, well, we'll just say I'm giving this part away because it's going to be included. We're not going to sell this, I'm giving it away. There. Does that make sense? Who knows? And again, this is part of that kit as well. It's a lot of loose stuff. And it's just a new print of an old thing. And that I pulled out from a sewing book of ages ago. I just thought it was neat. So a lot of the stuff I've saved, and it's like, okay, now what are you going to do with it? Again, these are pages from magazines. And that's from My Porch Prints. These are from digital kits that I have, and I've just got too many of them. And this other piece I actually made, let's see, yeah. So it opens up like this. You can put it in a journal if you want or whatever. But I've made it to look like a bobbin holder. I just thought that was the coolest thing. And now sometimes what I've done is I have stitched along here, left this open, and made it as a pocket. And then of course it's here in the spine of the book. So anyway, that's that stack. Now I'm gonna put you on. Okay, I'm back, and this is, you know, the thin tissue paper that you get from old patterns. Well, these are probably more than you'll ever want, but this is exactly what that is. They're old tissue bits and pieces, and these, if you treat them with a solution of glue and water, and you lightly put it on, it comes out like faux rice paper. It's really cool because it makes it much more sturdy. But you can also put this, like you can sew them into pockets and whatever. Or again, this is what I did with this one. Now these are the instructions here, but there are instructions in here. And these are from vintage patterns that I have. I get more instructions. So you got lots of pages of instructions. Isn't that cute? Shorts. Ha! I would love to be able to sew like that, but I never have been able to. And one thing that I wanted to point out to you, this is really cool. Now this is from antique patterns that I've managed to purchase over the years. You know how all of these have written things on them, you know, the lines and what have you. Well, apparently originally they didn't do that, because I have these in there and they're in shapes, and you see where that's the letter F, so it shows you what it is. And I'm assuming, I could be wrong, but I'm assuming that this came just like this, already cut out and identified like that. There's another piece, and it looks too perfectly cut to be hand cut. That's the letter G. And I have never seen that. But again, these are from antique patterns, probably from the 40s, maybe even the 30s. But they're just really neat. So that's in there as well. And one of these pieces actually still has a pin in it. Those old pins. But those are great for layering with snippets and things like that, or including them in pockets and things like that. So, okay, on to the next one. Okay, here we are again. All of these are pages from sewing books that I've purchased and used a lot out of them as just part of my journals and stuff, but there's still quite a lot left, as you can see. And more here. Better Homes and Gardens sewing book. Again, a lot of pages. There are also some what do you call these? Separators. I can't think of the name right now. My brain is kind of out of it. But again, just lots and lots of vintage sewing ephemera. And then there's this little doll that I found inside one of them. I believe that's where she came from. She's very frail, but I thought, well, why not? Just put her in there. So there's that set. And now we can start getting into what I call more of the fun stuff. Okay, I'm crazy, I know, but still. So here we go. Just gonna. Now, a lot of this is, as I said, it's vintage. Some of it's new. Very little of it's new, but most of it's vintage. Some of it's antique. Some of it is in not the greatest condition. Like, okay, this one. And I thought, well, I'm just going to throw them away. And then I thought better of that, because I thought, I personally have made little snippets, little bits and pieces lined up, and literally snippets out of this to put in sewing journals or any kind of journal. And I thought that would work for that. So I've just included it. If you don't like it, fine. You know, that's not my worry. So these look vintage. They're not. They're about 10 years old, something like that, I think. But I love them. I got several of them. They're marked 79 cents. I think I got them for 10 cents a piece, which is why I got quite a few of them. And I have used them in my own journals, and they're just cool. An old vintage packet of needles, sewing needles for the machine. We have a little threader. This is a vintage Clark's mercerized and boil fast. I think that's neat. 35 yards of red, cherry red thread. And then now this is new, but it's Krynic, I believe, metallic thread. A little thing there. Sewing scissors. These came out of old sewing boxes that I purchased along the way. This would look cool if you did a tassel and put things like that on it, I think, but that's just me. Lots and lots of little hooks and eyes, and again, that would be fun just to literally put in a journal just like that, or again, making it into snippets and what have you. This is a, whoops, get back here. It's just an old zipper. I never could, well, I can't sew worth beans. I can sew on paper all day long, but I cannot sew on anything else. This is just very old pale pink elastic. That would make some neat little demarcations on a journal. This is just a piece of ribbon that I had. It's not old, but I thought it was cool. These are some tape measures. These are plastic. These are just some little buckles that I've had. I bought them for one thing I was going to do, but they weren't large enough. I was not pleased. But anyway, you might be able to find something to do there. Another seam ripper. And an old thing of needles, 65 cents for probably 6 or 8 needles, I guess. Six tapestry needles. And here we have some snaps. And again, these are not in the best condition, but again, they are vintage and they're fun to work with. And then that's just a piece of DMC thread. Okay. Let's go over here. What do we have here in this bag? I was amazed when I started taking everything out and realizing how much I had. It was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So here we have bundles of, now this is from the 1960s, from pillowcases that my great aunt and my paternal grandmother had put on all of these pillowcases, tons of pillowcases. And I've taken them off because I've used them, but I just have too much. So purple, blue, pink, yellow, all of that. Here are some applique bits and pieces. Little tiny appliques there. Those would look cute on a tag or just on a page. Those are the cutest. I think those are precious. With a little, we called these cattails when I was growing up. But anyway, and there's some more little bits and pieces from those pillowcases. This is from an old curtain that was literally falling apart, and they're like little roses. This part isn't sewn down, and it's just the very finest embroidery around here, machine embroidery, but it's just so sweet. It's kind of transparent, you can't really tell, but I thought they'd make great little cards, pockets, whatever. But anyway, there's several of those. I want to do 5 of those. So let's put these right there. More appliques. And again, just different ones. And then lilies here. Put these over there. This is a piece of one of the pillowcases. You can see where the cattails came from. Make a neat little flip. Just put it up here, attach it to your journal, and then you raise it up like that. I just think that's neat. And these are two old, they're not antique, they're just old, probably from the 80s, I would think. Aunt Martha's hot iron transfers, days of the week, and then some ducks. And I had a ton of these. These belong to my grandmother, and she used them. They've been cut out, I believe. I know she's used some of them because I've seen them. I've got the actual thing that she did with them. So I'm going to put you on hold for just a second. So here we go with another one. I promise these get more fun as I keep going. Oh, goodness, goodness, goodness. Okay, so y'all know all those little packets where they say extra buttons, extra buttons. Well, I have tons of these little things that make great pockets. Most are from Christopher Banks. I don't know why, but I don't even know who Christopher Banks is, but there it is. Little, perfect little pockets. This is a little envelope, and it has miniature little cutouts in it. They haven't been cut out yet, but I just thought that was so sweet. But it's just a little miniature envelope made from the instructions. Now this is new. It's a little, that's a little charm. Jolie's Boutique French General. And some ribbon, but I thought it was pretty, so we're just going to include it. Singer heavy duty sewing, hand sewing. Now you're talking about very heavy duty here. Probably through jeans and things. But that's not an antique, but a vintage piece. Yeah, for canvas and things like that, and upholstery. I thought those were so cool. But these come in handy, these curl ones, because if you ever have anything that you need to, you know, get in there and kind of flip it up, perfect. These three were in a packet of patterns that I purchased, and inside, what a lady has done is she's cut out this picture of what it's supposed to look like, and then she's put the patterns on the inside. And I just thought that was so cool. She's already cut them out, I believe. Yeah, they look like they've been cut out. This one's for a sheath. This one's for a suit. And this one is for a skating skirt and shorts. And I just thought that was really neat. So, okay. These, and they're quite a, oh, there's another one of those. Blouse and culottes. I used to call those culottes. I used to wear those. And again, patterns. Oh, that one's got some instructions in it too. So I thought that was a neat way of doing it. Instruction sheets. This is a pattern. Oh, look, that's sweet. Beautiful color. And just different. It's days of the week. That's what it is. Sunday, Saturday. I thought that was cool. And here we have a thing of buttons. Oh, yes, here. Now these came from my mother-in-law. And I have a lot of them, as you can see. Let's see, that one, and these. Now, what these are, she ran a fabulous antique shop for years and years, and she would get samples of fabrics from these designer houses. She had a very beautiful antique shop. It was high-end, and she would get these samples for, you know, like, I don't know, 12-inch squares and what have you. And these would be attached to them. And it was to give people an idea of what you might want to cover this chair with. You might want to cover that cushion with or something like that. And so they literally attached to the sample of thread. These are originals. Sometimes she'd mark on it. These are, what? These are Paris. And she primarily got her antiques from London and Paris, those two. Other places, but mostly those two. Those are from London, you can see, the same company. And again, they would just fasten on, you'd staple it here and here, and there you have the sample. So I thought those were really neat. And they make these on digital kits now. So here's one, documentary design from Switzerland. Authorized adaptation from a woodblock print on cotton, Switzerland, circa 1860. So that was what it was designed on, and that was what the fabric looked like. And I've seen that fabric, and it's really cool. And this is another one, peach with oriental male and female figure on it. So that's what those are. These are old cards. Now, let's see. These all held buckles, but I figure you can put anything you want on them. They are original. 15 cents for a washable, ironable buckle. I don't know how you'd iron it, but what do I know? But that's what those were for. Oh, and there's another one. Not even sure what that is. Seam binding. This is new. These are self-adhesive pearl buttons. I think we have, no, these are some vintage ones. These are vintage, 39 cents. You can tell by the price how old those are. Size 24. I didn't know buttons came in numbered sizes. These were just pretty. They don't have the top on it or anything, but I just thought they were pretty. So, this, now I purchased these. I can't even remember where I purchased them from now. I think I purchased them. Anyway, it says they are vintage white buttons, and it was $1 for a pack. That was what was on it. And I bought several packs, and I thought, well, I have too many, so just share. Beautiful little white buttons. Here we have Rick Rack, tiny red Rick Rack, and then medium size, and then larger, 35 cents. So that tells you how old it is. But those are all vintage. Here's a little card, a little tag, if you will, and it just has a picture of buttons all over it. I'm not sure where I got it, but I have one that has, it's a cutout of a mason jar. It's a digital kit, and then you actually put your own buttons. So you could find buttons to put right on there, or make your, make another one out of this by photocopying it. And this, I have no idea where I found this. Again, I've had some of this stuff for years. I've just been collecting it. It's paper, and it's pictures of the, is it just Simplicity, I think? I think it is. Simplicity sewing patterns down through the years. And that would be so much fun. Oh, and think about miniature ones. Oh my goodness, you'd have one there. Okay, so there's that one. And I'm just going to push that right there. And then we're going to get into this one. See what's in here. I love going through this stuff. I've had a blast, actually. Well, this is attached, or was attached here, and it's a buckle. Not sure how it came unattached, but there it is. Pins, 15 cents. Beautiful white buttons, vintage. More buttons, again vintage, 59 cents, 39 cents. You can tell all the ages. It gets higher, as of course, as it gets newer. And let's see, any more buttons? There are some. I think that's all the buttons. This is a little pack. Now this is new. It's just little, I think, is it button? Yes, they're buttons. So you have a pair of scissors and some button shapes and thread shapes and little dressmaker thing, and then thimble things. But that's new. Well, 5 or 6 years old, I guess, something like that. Now here we have, okay, here's another Singer sewing machine. I still use these universal, the ones with the purple. I use those all the time. And this is a little tag that someone made, and I thought that was really sweet how she used the snaps in here instead of just having the hole. I thought that was really cool, and it just has that pattern paper glued over it. Oh, there's another button. Just when you think you've seen them all. This is a little trading card. I think that's new. It's just a digital print. Again, needles. And again, these can be used by just these little bits and pieces. I started throwing them away, and I thought, nope. because again, you can make little snippets with a little bit of lace, a little bit of fabric, and just kind of stack them all up here, and then you've got whatever. Hooks and eyes, lots of hooks and eyes, snaps. That's from Seam Binding, 25 cents. It's just the paper advertisement. More bits and pieces. Remember using these? These never worked. They always fell apart for me. This is from, excuse me, Stretch Right. Some kind of elastic. Again, more hooks and eyes. Excuse me. Hooks and eyes. You can tell I hold some of this stuff. But it's cool. I think it's neat. Whoops, I think that came off the back of that. So that's how old that is. It's just kind of degrading. Another little plastic thimble and some more needles. So, let's see. Oh, dry air. Goodness. Okay, these are some fun things. These are great. I have a lot of them. For wrapping threads, laces around. And just, keeping them, storing them like that, they're great for that. But they're laundry things. And this is something I purchased. Going to use it. And then I found a real one, a long length of it, and I thought, well, then somebody else can use that. But is that not cool? It comes in 12-inch. So it repeats again. There's 12 and then 1 and so on and so forth. I just thought that was cool. So that's part of it. Let me get this back in here before it all comes unraveled. What else is in here? And the pouch, of course, comes along with it. Isn't that neat? Oh, here's the one that has the buttons on it. It's just as cute as it can be. I love it. And we have more. These are loops, hooks and eyes. This is new. I ended up with a couple of these. I think someone gave me one, and I'd already had one, so this is the one that I had. And they're just cute. These are great to use on tassels, or what I call book jewelry, where you put them on the end of pages and what have you. I just think they're neat. Here we have some miniature little cutouts of vintage. Get down in there. Vintage pieces there. Not sure what that is. Every garden may have some weeds. Friends are God's way of taking care of us. So some little comments as well. Sweet. Just a little card. Regular, this is just a card. Needles. Make a pocket out of that. And now there's quite a few of these. Therefore, you can use them in journals. You can use them for your own. Make sure you can see all that. For your own bits of laces and threads and what have you. Little cards. There's some even tinier ones. There's a lot of them. Like I said, I have so much and it's just ridiculous. My problem is I put all of these up and then I thought I forgot about them. And as a result, I ended up getting more. So just again, ephemera. This is an empty container for assorted needles. Some lace and some seam binding. Again, with still the little thing in there. Braided elastic. More elastic container. This is a little thing of seed beads. Those are great when you make little shakers. I think that was probably my idea that I was going to do, was make a little shaker for that. This, I purchased this. I was going to do it. I knew I was going to do it. Yeah, I never did it. I've had it for at least 10 years. But it's making bias tape. I don't know why I wanted to make bias tape, because I cannot sew unless it's on paper. But anyway, what can I say? This is more. Oh, these are from a digital kit that's for button cards. So those aren't original, but those are for button cards. You just put your own buttons on them. More of these. Tags. Lots of stuff. More miniatures. Postcard with a thread on it. It's sweet. These are, again, digital kits. A lot of them I've already cut out. These make great pockets. You just, you know, glue it down and then you can put stuff in it like that. Or you can put it like on the edge of a page and it looks so real. And you can use that as a pocket or whatever. We have several pieces here. Isn't that sweet? It's a card. More cards. And I believe these particular ones here came from My Porch Prints. They had a beautiful kit that I've used quite a lot. But I just, again, isn't that neat? But I just don't have the inclination to keep using the same ones over and over again. And these are all from digital kits. Okay, so there's that one. Now let's see what else. I'm going to put you on hold because the next one has a large amount in it. Okay, so this is the last bag. The last bag. And here, I told you that I had, you know, the digital prints for the cards. Well, at some point, I went through all of these. These are, again, digital prints. And I took a lot of my vintage buttons. Some of them are new, but a lot of them are vintage. You can tell by looking at them. Those are new. These are vintage. Those are vintage. 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 And so I've matched the buttons with the type of buttons that are described on each card. But I have a lot of them. Sometimes I just get a little carried away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I believe. So there's all that. And again, digital prints, but real buttons that are matching and vintage that would match the description on the card. To zippers. Let's see what we have here. These are some vintage pattern pieces. Oh, okay, so these are written instructions. And some of these are just the envelopes, and some of them are, you know, have the pattern in them. But these are all vintage, as you can tell by looking at them. I just love looking at all the fashions. There's some more instructions. Look at this one. Now, this one's just an envelope. And a friend of mine takes these and decorates the top of them with like a little pearl necklace and lace along here. Darlene, oh, she's fabulous with all this stuff. And I'm doing the same thing with my own journals. But I just thought that was so cool. So, great idea. Thank you, Darlene. Now, this is, I mean, you can see the shape of it, bless its heart. And this one's torn, but this one is still good. And you can reinforce it, put it on cardstock. And this one is also torn. You've got a small one down there that's okay. And then this one. And then these are empty, but they're sweet. Look at the kids' clothes. As if I would ever be able to make something like that. Can you imagine? It just... I'm always amazed at people who can sew like this. And there's another shirts. And look at those dresses. Those are so cool. Some have writing on it, where people would, this one is just yellow, you know, would it look good in yellow. This is not quite as old, but it's a wedding dress or ball gown or whatever you want to call it. So all of those. This is a piece that was in a grab bag that I'd purchased. And it's not finished, but I just thought it was neat. Because someone went to a lot of work at least to get it this far. You could finish it, you could do whatever. Make it just part of your journal. I thought it was sweet. And now this is this the last thing? I think this is the last thing for this particular one. This is fabric, as you can see. And it's about, I have no idea how, 36 inches wide. And of course that's doubled. And there's about a yard. Yeah, about a yard of it. And it's all of these different, I think they're all simplicity too. Yes, all simplicity. I mean, isn't that cool? You can make cards out of these, or journal cover, or whatever. I thought that's neat. Anyway, so that, oh, here's some more. Here's some more. Just when you think you've come to the end. Isn't that sweet? And there's some more. And here's some more. So that concludes this particular sale. All of this is going to be in one lot. I'm going to keep the price as low as possible. The shipping is probably going to be a little high, but I'll try and give you a heads up on what that's going to be. But I've got too much, and I wanted to see if someone out there could possibly use it. Now, a different listing that's going to be in my Etsy shop is this book. Now, this is a separate listing from everything else, and I purchased 3 of these. This one's in excellent condition, and I actually made a journal with a tassel and everything, and I'll put the link down below you can see how I did my journal out of this. And it's got all of its bits and pieces in it. It's just really neat. It's a bindered book. And what I loved about this one were the graphics on the index cards. Just gorgeous. I just thought they were so cool. And again, you can use the pages to make pockets or whatever. I mean, it's fun. Look at those. But I used 2 of the 3, and again, I thought, no, I'm not going to do any more like this. I don't want to get tired of them. But I thought someone else might appreciate it. So I'm just going to sell it. But again, it's the Complete Family Sewing Book. And again, those graphics are just so cool. There's the back of it. So again, that will be a separate listing. And then everything else is going to be on a listing by itself. I hope that someone will be able to use some of this. But anyway, we'll just see how it goes. If you have any questions, let me know. And I will talk to you later. Have a blessed day. Take care. Bye-bye.